to stand out on the street, trying to get some money for food. I held out my hand to a family as they walked by. "Please, sir, spare me $1." The man didn't even look at me. It was as though I didn't even exist. His wife looked in the other direction to avoid eye contact with me, but their son definitely saw me. I know that because he kicked me hard on the shin as he walked past. "Hey, that hurt!" But he just laughed and carried on walking. I don't know who they think they are. Just because I'm begging doesn't give them the right to treat me like an animal. I slumped down onto the floor and huddled against the wall to try and get some warmth. That's when I noticed another family walking towards me. You could see by the clothes they were wearing and the handbag the lady was carrying that they were super wealthy. Ugh, I would kill to be in their shoes. But before I go on, you won't forget to like and subscribe, will you? Oh, and hit that notification bell too. Life just wasn't fair. How come they got to have everything whilst I had nothing? I hated rich people. Most of them had never done a day's work in their lives. Yet, they got to live a life of luxury. Why can't I get some good luck for a change? I sat there for hours wallowing in self-pity. But then something inside me changed. I began to feel more determined. Come on, Selena. Sitting here feeling sorry for yourself isn't going to get you anywhere. You need to get up and do something about your situation. It was like a light bulb had gone off in my head. I knew that I couldn't live my life just begging on the streets anymore. I decided I would go out and try to find a job. I started asking in every shop that I went past if they had any vacancies, but each one took one look at my appearance and gave a resounding no. I had almost given up hope when I walked into the last shop at the end of the street. It was a small grocery store run by an old man with a kind face. "Excuse me, sir. I'm looking for some work. Do you have any vacancies?" The man looked me up and down.
Are you a hard worker?
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir.
And are you honest?
Of course, sir.
Okay, you can start on Monday at 9 a.m.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
And you can stop calling me sir. My name is Bill.
Thank you. Of course, sir.
Okay, you can start on Monday at 9 a.m.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
And you can stop calling me sir. My name is Bill.
Thank you, Bill. The man smiled at me, his eyes lighting up. I walked out of the shop and onto the street. Yes! I couldn't believe that I had actually managed to find a job. I started work on Monday morning, and even though I enjoyed the job, the money was barely enough to live on. I really need to find a way to get more money. There's got to be an easier way than working all hours for a pittance. I didn't have any skills, so there was no way I could get a well-paid job. Guess there's nothing else for it. I'll have to become a gold digger. I began to hatch out a plan to become the best gold digger in town. It took me a while, but eventually I knew exactly what I must do. How to snag a rich guy 101. This is my step-by-step guide. First, I went to clubs. Only the ones frequented by the wealthy and famous, of course. Once inside the club, I would look for the richest guy in there. They were never difficult to spot because they were usually the loudest and the ones showing off the most. The thing that gave them away was always the watch that they were wearing. If it was anything less than a Rolex, then I didn't give them the time of day. As soon as I spotted my prey, I set out to seduce them. It was a joke how easy it was. All I had to do was flatter them, tell them how handsome they were, and they would fall for me. Once I had them hooked, the next thing to do was to convince them to buy me stuff. After they had bought me enough things, I would ditch them and move on to the next one. Of course, I always made sure to move around to different clubs and always wear some kind of disguise, like a wig or something. That way, I could even snag a few different guys at the same time. I remember one guy that I met in the Mayfair Club. It's a very exclusive club. Only the richest of the rich can be a member there. His name was Nicholas. I spotted him the moment I entered the club. He was sitting at the bar on his own and looking pretty miserable. I walked over and sat on the stool next to him. "Penny for your thought?" He looked over at me.
You wouldn't want to know.
"Try me."
I've just been dumped by my girlfriend.
I spotted him the moment I entered the club. He was sitting at the bar on his own and looking pretty miserable. I walked over and sat on the stool next to him. "Penny for your thought?" He looked over at me.
You wouldn't want to know.
"Try me."
I've just been dumped by my girlfriend.
Well, I think that is something to celebrate, don't you? Why don't you buy me a drink and I will try to cheer you up? He looked at me, hesitating for a second, but then he smiled.
Sure, what would you like?
A glass of champagne, please?
Oh, I like your style.
Thank you. I've always been a champagne kind of girl. I spent the next couple of hours chatting away with him. I made sure to listen and look really interested in everything he told me, even though, to be honest, I found him really boring. Nicholas, your girlfriend must have lost her mind. I can't imagine why anyone would want to dump you. You are so interesting, and so good-looking too. Any girl would be lucky to date you.
You know what? You're right. It's her loss, not mine. And actually, I owe her a favor. If she hadn't dumped me, I would never have met you. They say things happen for a reason, don't they?
They most certainly do. By the end of our third drink, I had persuaded Nicholas to take me shopping the next day. There's this really cute pair of earrings that I've been wanting. We should go get them in the morning and then go out for a fancy lunch somewhere.
Sure, Selena. I'll pick you up at 10 a.m.
I only saw Nicholas one more time, then I made some excuse about having to look after an elderly relative or something. So, I'm sorry. I won't be able to see you anymore.
I understand. And you're such a good person, giving up your social life to care for someone else?
Anyone would do the same. I'm not anything special.
Oh, I think you are.
It wasn't long after that I met Adam. I met him in the usual way. I spotted him across the room, checked out his watch, and realized that he was obviously mega rich. But things didn't turn out the way I thought they would with Adam. You see, I ended up falling in love with him. You probably won't believe me when I say this, but I didn't even care about his money. I really just loved him for who he was. I decided that I would stay with Adam. I'd had enough of jumping from one guy to another. It was time to care about his money. I really just loved him for who he was. I decided that I would stay with Adam. I'd had enough of jumping from one guy to another. It was time to settle down, and I knew that Adam was the right guy for me. Adam took me on some of the most amazing dates of my life. One time, he surprised me by turning up in a Ferrari.
Hop in. I have a surprise for you.
What? What is it?
Wait and see.
He drove me out to the airport. Where are we going?
It's a surprise.
He parked the car, and we got out. A private jet was waiting for us, its engines running. My God, I can't believe it! Where are we going?
Where have you always dreamed of going?
No. Really? Oh my God! Are you taking me to Paris?
I sure am.
Oh my God, I'm so excited! I can't breathe! That was just one of the many amazing adventures Adam took me on. My life with him was perfect in every way. Well, almost perfect. There was just one thing that was really annoying. Other women were always trying to steal him from me. One time, we were at a 5-star Michelin restaurant enjoying a meal. I went to the bathroom. I couldn't have been gone more than 5 minutes. But when I got back to our table, there was another woman sitting in my seat. Excuse me, that's my seat. The woman looked up at me and gave me an evil stare.
You should be careful leaving your man all alone. You don't know what might happen.
Selena, this is Nancy. She's an old friend.
Well, a bit more than friends, hey, Adam?
Nancy, this is my girlfriend, Selena.
I noticed that her face fell when Adam introduced me as his girlfriend. She made her excuses and left. Wow, she's a bit rude.
Just ignore her. She's harmless.
But it was a bit difficult to ignore Nancy. She seemed to turn up everywhere we went. I really think that she's actually stalking you, Adam.
You know, I think you might be right. I thought it was all just a bit of fun on her part, but she really seemed to have some kind of fixation on me.
I think we should just call the police. Ask them to give her a warning to stay away from me and funny. I couldn't help but feel relaxed. But his mom was a different story. I could tell immediately that she didn't like me.
So where do you work, Selena?
I work in a shop in the high street.
Oh, right. I would have expected Adam to date a doctor or a lawyer or something, not a shop girl.
Mom, don't be like that.
Well, I'm just looking out for you, Adam. Are you sure she isn't just going out with you for your money?
No, honestly, I'm not. I love Adam for who he is. It's not about what he has or what he can buy me. I never felt this way about anyone before. Adam looked at me in shock.
Did you just say that you love me?
I began to blush. I couldn't believe that the first time I said that I loved him was in front of his mom and dad. Yeah?
I love you too.
Really?
Yes, of course. I fell in love with you the moment I met you.
Oh, Adam, I'm so happy right now. You will not believe what Adam did next. He stood up, put his hand in his pocket, and took out a box. Then he got down on one knee.
I've been waiting for the perfect moment, and this is it. Selena, will you marry me?
Oh, I gasped out loud. Yes, I'll marry you. Adam jumped up and pulled me into his arms. He was grinning from cheek to cheek.
I'm going to make you the happiest girl in the world.
Congratulations, son.
Thanks, Dad. Mom?
Adam's mom stood there for a few seconds in shock, but then she gathered herself together.
If it's what you want, Adam, then of course I am happy for you. Congratulations to both of you.
Adam didn't want a long engagement.
Why wait? I just